Check the feed. Hey, shalom, shalom.
Shalom.
Hey, it's your brother's a great millstone, Charlotte. The spirit and power of Yahweh, Bashim Yahweh Shai. First and foremost, we want to start with giving our praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakah, Hakwadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who rule well and teach well, and peace and blessings to the hopeful elect, pushing this world with all truth, righteousness, and sincerity. Shalom, shalom.
Shalom.
Hey, so just a quick morning exhortation, motivation, just going into how we're being made stronger through the challenges, that we're overcoming, man. Right? The Lord is setting forth different trials, different adversities, and ultimately, going into Jacob's trouble, right? That's going to be a challenge that's set before us to overcome so that we can be made pure, man. Right? But in our walks, each challenge that we overcome, makes us stronger. It builds our faith. It builds our wisdom, knowledge, understanding, our discernment, right? So that we may serve the Lord, in a more efficient fashion, man. You know, so we can get that Romans.
Come. This is Romans chapter 15 and verse 4. It says, "For whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning, that we through patience and comfort of the scriptures might have hope."
Right, because we see the stories of our forefathers, right, written in the scriptures, and the things that they overcame, and how they, were made better as a result of it, man. Right? We went to the integrity of Eleazar, right? That was a major challenge, a major test. So the things that we find ourselves in, the circumstances, you know, no matter how small, you know, when you embrace the challenge, that's the Lord, preparing you, for a situation, right, that you're going to find yourself in, and you're going to already have the spirit to overcome that. Like the scriptures tell us, the victory is already written, right? So we've already beaten, the demons that we face. We've already beaten these things, but the Lord is going to put those things as a test in front of us, right, to prove ourselves, man. Let's get 2 Timothy 2 and start in verse 3.
This is 2 Timothy chapter 2 and verse 3. It says, Thou therefore endure hardness as a good soldier of Yahweh Shai HaMashiach. No man that warreth entangleth himself with the affairs of this life, that he may please him who hath chosen him to be a soldier.
Right. So we've been chosen to be soldiers, man. Right. And brothers with military backgrounds can attest. The camps, the boot camps are probably the hardest parts of the training, man. Right. The build up to actually be deployed. Right. And this is what the Lord is putting us through, is the build up, right? The hardening. He's making sure that we're sharp and we keep our edge, throughout these times, right? By putting forth different trials that we have to overcome, right? The Lord, you ask for more wisdom. He's going to put you in a position that might be difficult for you, and you have to use wisdom. You ask for more faith. He's going to put you in a difficult position and force you to use faith, force you to pray to the Lord, right? Whatever you pray for, the Lord is going to put you in a space to where that's exactly what you're going to need, and then you're going to realize that your continual growth is taking place, man.
I got a quick precept. This is Bon Sirach, chapter 2. And I'll start at verse 1, and it says, My son, if thou come to serve the Lord, prepare thy soul for temptation. Set thy heart aright, and constantly endure, and make not haste in time of trouble, which it says, set thy heart aright, which, your heart is going into your mind, pretty much set your mind right. And how we set our mind right, when the scriptures say, and your patience, which patience goes into suffering, pretty much, suffering and enduring, in your patience, possess your souls. And how do we possess our souls? And how do we, set our mind right, by staying, fastened to these scriptures. So it says, set thy heart aright and constantly endure and make not haste in time of trouble, so like we going into, we can't just be so willing to just, all right, like I'm gonna hop out, we gotta stay in there, get those those rough edges knocked off. You see, because again we're I believe the gold process is called the smelting process. So essentially, we're in that smelting process. So we have to, essentially make sure, that essentially again we're enduring, and that we're allowing the Lord to work through us and work with us. But it says, and make not haste in time of trouble. Pretty much, don't rush the process, and also, don't just try to jump out a certain situation, so quickly. Don't be hasty. So it says, cleave unto him and depart not away, that thou mayest be increased at thy last end. Deuteronomy 4:4. Yeah, that did cleave unto the Lord. Our power roughly paraphrasing. Because essentially, like you were going into the different examples and the our forefathers, we see how they were. You see, so those serve as examples, like we're gonna get, like we got in Romans the 15th chapter and the 4th verse. So I'm reading again. It says, "Cleave unto him, and depart not away." You see, because our forefathers always cleaved to the Lord, and they was never confounded. So it says that thou mayest be increased at thy last end. Whatsoever is brought upon thee, take cheerfully, and be patient when thou art changed to a lower state. Because we got to take it cheerfully, because again we're being turned into that gold. So it says, for gold is tried in the fire, and acceptable men in the furnace of adversity. You see, so everybody has a like a rite of passage, so to speak. And the scriptures say that those in the world, they doing it for a incorruptible or a corruptible crown. You see, but we're doing it for incorruptible. So how much more so, is the training process going to be that much more difficult? You see, but the rewards are going to be far greater, than what we can fathom on this side.
That's right. That's right. Right. And we all have things that that we struggle with, right? That the Lord is forcing us to overcome, man. You know. So it's like He's putting us in those positions. Like, look, this is something that's an issue with you. It's like I need that uh, resolved, before you can take that next step, right? But once you get past it, because even in the world, right, people when you shy away from different challenges, you don't know what your true potential is, man. Right?
Mm-hmm.
You don't know what your limits are. So when you test those limits, now you know, right? This is what I'm capable of. And so, how much more the men of the Lord, right, or you believers out there, how much more you testing your faith, testing your resolve, right, testing your
Mm-hmm.
will, you know.
If I can mention too, you got to prove yourself. If you took it like in reference to like like fighting or something like that, your coach, which the Lord, in this example would be the coach, you see, but at the same time too, you as yourself, you see what ultimately your body can do, with that training. Pretty much going into we had Romans. I'm gonna get it again, and it says this is Romans. I'm gonna get another one. This is Romans chapter 5 and verse 3. It says, and not only so, but we glory in tribulations also, knowing that tribulation worketh patience, and patience experience, and experience hope. You see, so by going through that patience, which that's the fight right there. That's the walk, that's the straight gate. And it says experience. You get that experience, which the scriptures say a man that has traveled much will declare wisdom, roughly paraphrasing. And it says experience, and experience hope. You see, so you see, what I'm saying, that the Lord got you out of this situation. You see how the Lord was dealing with you in this situation, so that brings forth hope. You know.
Uh, could you get Hebrews 12:11?
God. This is Ibaria, Hebrews chapter 12 and verse 11. And it says, now no chastening for, excuse me, now no chastening for the present seemeth to be joyous, but grievous. Nevertheless, afterward it yieldeth the peaceable fruit of righteousness unto them which are exercised thereby.
Right. So, like you were saying, right, that fire doesn't feel good, right? It's that your instinct is to jump out of the discomfort, man. But we got to
Mm-hmm.
embrace those things in order to make the changes that are necessary, right? It's not gonna feel good, but like it said, nevertheless afterward, right? So once you've gone through this, once you got through the storm, you weathered it, right? It yielded the peaceable fruit of righteousness unto them which are exercised thereby, right? So when you exercise that patience, like you made mention of, right, and you wait it out, and you see what the Lord is asking for you in a certain situation, right? Then you're gonna be you're gonna have that peaceable fruit, man. You're gonna have that growth, that strength, for forever, right? But going back to you were talking about the experience, right? It's a Sirach 34, and I'll start in 10. It says, "He that hath no experience knoweth little, but he
Mm-hmm.
that hath traveled is full of prudence." So when you've experienced a lot of things, that's why we trust in the judgment of our elders and apostles on down, man. Right? Because they've experienced these things, they've gone through the things that we're going through, right? And then how much more the scriptures, how much more Yahweh Shai, right? All these tales and stories, right, of men who experienced, traveled through different things that we ourselves are gonna face, man, right? So those men are full of prudence because they've traveled through those roads, right? They've experienced those circumstances, so they can
Mm-hmm.
teach and they can shed light on these things, man. Let's get First Peter 1:7.
Con. This is First Peter chapter 1 and verse 7, and it says that the trial of your faith, excuse me, that the trial of your faith and being much more precious than of gold that perisheth, though it be tried with fire, might be found unto praise and honor and glory at the appearing of Yahweh Shai HaMashiach.
Right, so we're facing that trial by fire right now, man. Right, it's about to intensify. You know, the Lord is purifying his elect. Right, so he has to get rid of all the unwanted qualities, all the Babylonian tendencies that might still be dwelling in us. Right, the weakness. Right, in whatever areas that we may face, the Lord is slowly purging those things out of us, man. Right, so your day-to-day walk, right, when you're faced with a challenge, that challenge is the Lord saying, look, this is something you got to overcome. Right, this is something that I've given you the strength to do. You just have to prove that strength. Right, I've given you the faith, I've given you the wisdom, right, to get past this hurdle. Right, now you have to do it, man. You have to show that forth. You got something?
Con. I had a scripture and then I had a word, but I get the scripture first. That's for you. This
Okay.
is Mashal Yah, Proverbs chapter 22 and verse 6. It says, train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it.
We're going through that training right now, man. Right, it's the training camp, it's the boot camp. Right, where we're seeing what we're made of. Right, that way we're all, once we get into the battlefield, right, we can move in lockstep, right, with no hindrances, man. Right, with no doubts.
And I also want to get that word for train up. It says chanak, and it says to train, dedicate, inaugurate, to train up, to dedicate. Like you mentioned all the time, pretty much we in kingship, or we in prince training.
Mm-hmm.
It says chanak, to narrow, pretty much going into the straight gate. Because again, how would you know what you're made of unless you put it to the test? You can't just be like, oh yeah, um, you get, what I'm saying, the kingdom first go around. Don't go
Right.
through nothing. Like you gotta go through something. So it says properly to narrow the straight gate, to figuratively to initiate or discipline, dedicate. All right, I'm gonna get this word right here. And it says initiation. All right, and it says the act or an instance of initiating, the process of being initiated, the straight gate. It says the rites, ceremonies, ordeals, or instructions with which one is made a member of a sect or a society, or is invested with a particular function or status. And it says the condition of being initiated into some experience or sphere of activity. So, pretty much, all right, this second definition says the condition of being initiated into some experience or sphere of activity, knowledgeableness. You see, because you can declare knowledge, you can declare wisdom by going through those experiences and pretty much being put into that fire, being put into that straight gate.
Exactly.
You can declare your patience, you can declare, that experience, and then through the spirit, you can declare hope. That builds up that hope.
Mm-hmm. I want to read this in the free version. This is a train. It says here, to guide or to teach to do something, as by subjecting to various exercises or experiences, man. Right? So we're being put through various exercises, various trials and tribulations, adversities, right? Discomforts, right? In order to what specific purpose, man? That we may be purified in the eyes of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, right? It says, where we at, Salakia? It says to do exercise and prepare for a specific purpose, um, to control or guide toward a specific goal, right? Because the spirit is what's guiding us right down this goal, down this road, the straight gate, as the brother may mention that, man. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So we're being guided through, but we're being tested all the way, man. Right? So we're being tested, on our day to day. We're being tested, right? In the ministry, we're being tested. Ultimately, coming up onto these times of trouble, man.
I got a precept. This is Dabar Yam Deuteronomy chapter 6 and verse 5. It says, "And thou shalt love the Lord thy power with all thine heart and with all thy soul and with all thy might." It says, "And these words which I command thee this day shall be in thine heart." Pretty much on your mind. The scriptures say that blessed be the man that, essentially meditates on this word, roughly paraphrasing. So it says, "Thou shalt teach them diligently unto thy children, and shalt talk of them when thou sittest in thine house, and when thou walkest by the way, and when thou liest down, and when thou risest up." Again, it should be, on our minds daily, day in and day out. All right. But I want to get this word for teach, because it says shanan, and it says to sharpen, to wet, which when you sharpen something, that pretty much mean you, again, excuse me, when you wet something, that means that you're sharpening it. It says to sharpen, to teach incisively, to be pierced, to inculcate, to teach diligently. So in this walk, essentially the Lord is sharpening us up, because we've been in Babylon, we've learned a lot of bad habits. So essentially in that smelting process, and in our patience and our suffering, essentially we're being sharpened up.
Mm-hmm. And when you sharpen something, what happens? You remove, right, material in order
Mm-hmm.
to get it to a point, man.
That old, that old, that old material. Can I get that word?
Kind.
This is the word for sharpen. All right, and it says give me a second. It says chad, just like the Hebrew word achad, because to come to one point. So chad, it says it says chad. It says a wall separates the inside from the outside, which is the cha. Only through the door can one enter or exit, united the inside with the outside. It says the pictograph cha is a picture of a wall. It says the da is a picture of a door, which combined those mean a wall door. It says chad. It says, or excuse me, chad. Yeah, chad. It says one of the sum total of the whole. It says the two edges of a sword that meet to form one point. It says two or more coming together as unity. The sharp edge of a blade is coming together of the two to one point. So again, essentially, the Lord is making that sword sharp. He's making our mind sharp. Because
Right.
it ain't no niggas gonna get on no chariot. Only repentant Israelites. Those of the elect.
That's right. You had made the point of us being in Babylon for so long, right? Now, it's the Lord is sharpening us. Why? Because Jay has gotten dull, right? We lost our edge, And when you go
Mm-hmm.
to that phrase, it means to lose the skills, the conviction, or the energy that helped make one a success before, right? So the
Mm-hmm.
Lord is giving us all these things back so that we can be made a success again, man, right? So that Israel can be made a praise in the earth as it was before, man. Uh, we can get First Peter 4:12 and 13, and then if you have anything else, we can close after that.
I wanted to get a definition for dual.
Yeah.
It says tedious, uninteresting, lacking sharpness of edge or point, not resonant or ringing, lacking in force, intensity, or sharpness, lacking brilliance or luster.
Yeah.
I believe it's a scripture that says how's the fine gold turned into something less interesting, roughly paraphrasing. I can't, where it's at, bro.
Let's see if we can find it.
It says slow in action. It says lacking zest or vivacity. And when you go into that word vivacity, it pretty much goes into, lacking life, you see, because when
Mhm.
coming here in America, Babylon the Great, Jake is in a position of, being without understanding. The scriptures say that, the man that wandereth out of the way of understanding shall remain in the congregation of the dead, you see. So, being here in America, Babylon the Great, essentially what they push is a death style, you see. So in this walk, essentially, again, the Lord is turning us into those sharp-minded individuals,
Mhm. Kindness for you. It's Lamentations 1:1. That's like Lamentations 4:1. How is the gold become dim? How is the most fine gold changed? The stones of
Mhm.
the sanctuary are poured out in the top of every street.
Right? Because essentially, when the Lord was dealing with us, Judah, the fifth chapter, the Lord made sure that we was good. We was protected. We had resources and stuff like that. We was in a good estate. Everything was thriving. You see, but essentially, we were put into this captivity because we sinned against the Lord. You see, so in this day and time, the elect, all right, is repenting, all right, and the Lord again is turning us into that gold. Because the scriptures say in I believe it's in Isaiah the 32nd chapter, it talks about how the Lord's going to turn a man into a fine gold, even the golden wedge of Ophir, and that's talking about the elect, you know.
Okay. Verse 2. The precious sons of Zion, comparable to fine gold, how are they esteemed as earthen pitchers, the work of hands of the potter?
Because again, you know, again the Lord took us. Again, we went off. We sinned against the Lord. You see, so we were put into this estate. You see, so again, the Lord is again turning us into that fine gold. Adonai Tazai, we endure until the end.
Uh, uh, we can get that 1 Peter 4:12.
This is First Peter chapter 4 and verse 12. It says, "Beloved, thinking not strange concerning the fiery trial, which is to try you, as though some strange thing happened unto you."
Right. So these aren't right circumstances that we should be surprised at, man. Right. All these trials, right? Like you read in that Sirach 2nd chapter, right? Prepare your soul for temptation. These are things that we were made told to prepare for, right? And as a result, we're expecting these things to happen, and we're embracing them because we know that we're going to be made better as a result, man. Oh, you can read 13.
Con, it's a lot. Was that First Peter 4 and 14? It says, or 13. It says, "But rejoice inasmuch as ye are partakers of Hamashiach sufferings, that when his glory shall be revealed, ye may be glad also with exceeding joy."
Right. So we rejoice, man. Right. Like it says here in the NLT, it says, it's a lot. It says, be very glad, for these trials make you partners with Hamashiach in his suffering, so that you will have the wonderful joy of seeing his glory when it is revealed to all the world, man. All right. So this is our only way to access that. This is our only opportunity, right, to have that fortune, right, to be, granted permission into that fold, man. Is to go through all these different trials and tribulations, man. What's that? Acts 14.
Come and get it. This is Acts chapter 14 and verse 22.
Mhm.
And it says, "Confirming the souls of the disciples and exhorting them to continue in the faith, and that we must through much tribulation enter into the kingdom of the Most High."
That's it, man. Through much tribulation, man. Right. But that exhortation is going out. And when you go into the word to confirm, it means to strengthen, man. Right. So these words, these stories, these testimonies are strengthening the faith of the believers. Right. So that when we face these trials on our own, we can relate back, return back, and see examples of men who overcame it, man. Right. And the ultimate example being Yahweh Shai, right? He overcame, and then we're gonna overcome as a result, man. Right. So all the victory is sealed, as we made mention of earlier, man. Right. We just have to, embrace that fire. Right. We have to endure the persecution, endure the anguish, that we have to go through on our day to day, man. But the reward is gonna be that much more great. Um, that was pretty much it. Let me see. I think I got one more. That's a lot.
All right, quick one. This is Romans chapter 8 and verse 17. It says, verse 16, it says, the Spirit itself beareth witness with our spirit that we are the children of the Most High. You see, the Spirit, all right, John 6 and 63, the Spirit is, is the word. It quickens us, makes us alive. And it says the Spirit itself beareth witness with our spirit that we are the children of the Most High. And who's the ones that are repenting? Who are the ones that are bringing out this word and sincerity and the truth on the highways and byways? All right.
Mm-hmm.
All right, those the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, and the men on down, and those are likewise doctrine. It's the so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans. The scriptures resonate with our spirit, and it says, and if children, then heirs, and heirs of the Most High, and joint heirs with Hamashiach, if so be that we suffer with him. I want to get this word for suffer, and it says, the word for suffer, it says to suffer or feel pain together, to suffer evils, troubles, persecutions, in like manner with another. So the scriptures say, right, I'm gonna finish it out. It says to experience pain jointly or of the same kind. So pretty much going into jointly, it says to suffer with. So the scriptures say that the servant is not greater than his master. So we got to suffer. So it says, if so be that we suffer with him, taking that straight gate, we got to bear our cross. It says that we may be also glorified together. You see, so again, we're gonna be those joint heirs. You see, so it ain't like it's gonna be like here you go. Like no, nothing.
Right.
Old Jake in the world got a saying. Nothing in life is free.
Exactly.
So this ain't free. You gotta work for it. You gotta put the work in.
Mm-hmm. Wow. That's pretty much the point. Hey, man. Everything that we're going through has a purpose, man. Right, and the Lord's purpose is going to be fulfilled, and he's purifying his elect so that they can be that right sacrifice, man. Right, so that we're deserved, like the brother may mention, so that we're deserving of these things, man. Right, we have to go through this, right, to prove ourselves. Right, you say you believe. It's like prepare for that temptation, man. Prepare for these various things that the Lord is going to do to test that belief. You know, and while we go through and overcome, we're being made stronger so that we can pass these tests, man. But that was the point. Unless you had anything else up.
Nah.
So we pray our listeners edifying through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. I want to close by giving all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh Bahasham, Yahushua Bahasham, Barakah HaKodash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who rule well and teach well. And peace and blessings to the hopeful elect, pushing this word with all truth, righteousness, and sincerity. Shalom, shalom.
Shalom.